Dan Evans has tonight's Cairo News commentary.
The National Park Service issued a remarkable statement recently calling for the restoration of all salmon runs on the Elwha River. The request is unusual because it would almost certainly require the removal of 2 existing hydroelectric dams on the river. The dams were built more than 70 years ago to supply electricity to the Port Angeles pulp mill. Construction of the dams radically reduced the salmon runs, which were legendary. The Elwha River Chinook salmon reached 100 pounds in size, and the river supported runs of all breeds of Pacific salmon as well as steelhead. 75 miles of natural fish habitat still exist, but is unreachable because of the dams. Federal agencies are currently arguing over relicensing the 2 dams. Ironically, one dam has never been licensed, and the other's license expired 13 years ago. Now, the National Park Service, Fish and Wildlife agencies, and local Indian tribes are requesting removal of the dams. Certainly, alternative power sources can be found for the pulp mill. So here is a unique opportunity for an innovative solution that will keep electric power delivered to the mill while the dams are removed and new fish runs established. Maybe once again the fabled Elwha salmon will return to its long-lost spawning ground. Here is one issue on which our congressional delegation could unite. Heavens knows they need one. I'm Dan Evans.
Hazel Wolf is an extraordinary woman. She's been an activist all her life, having worked in the civil rights and the Native American movement, as well as environmental causes. She's also on the board of the Seattle Audubon Society, which gave Hazel a big party this year to thank her for her years of help. And when she's not organizing, Hazel likes to birdwatch, hike, kayak, or go camping. By the way, did I mention that she's 100 years old? Take a look.
My name is Hazel Wolf, and I'm an environmentalist and have been since the early 60s.
Hazel Wolf is a character, and she's a person who really makes a difference. Hazel has been involved in the Audubon Society for 35 years. She has been the person most instrumental in organizing 21 of the 26 chapters in the state of Washington. And I don't think probably anybody else has a record like that. At 100 years old, you would think maybe a person would be running on a little steam, but Hazel is not. Hazel is just going every day.
At least once a year I go camping, and I'll go this year, looking at birds, looking at wildflowers, occasional rattlesnake, everybody screams.
One of Hazel's interesting stories is how she got involved with the environmental side of things. She had Seattle Audubon friends who wanted to get her out bird watching. And she was not particularly interested, but they hounded her and got her to go along. There was one bird that really appealed to her, the brown creeper.
All day long, this little bird picked its food up from the bark. And I thought, this little bird works hard for a living. I worked like the bird did, hard for a living. So I began to relate to that bird, felt very close to it. And then I recalled that Audubon, part of their mission is the protection of birds. I think that I was kind of open to that sort of thing because of my early life. I left school when I was in the 8th grade. My mother was very poor. We were very poor. My father died when I was pretty young, and she had 3 of us to support with very little education. She worked in overall factories. She belonged to the IWW. She went to union meetings. I went with her.
When Hazel turned 100 years old, we couldn't resist having a big bash. It started with a big birthday celebration, and then Hazel thought, let's do something with it, and it was her idea to say, let's set up an endowment. Do you think we could do that? Just a party wouldn't be good enough.
We're now in the process of setting up a whole program for junior Audubon clubs, and is focused on pre-teenagers, 10, 11, or 12 years old. And the children learn things that they don't forget, especially when it has to do concerning nature. They don't ever change their minds. I get lots of requests from schools. They ask interesting questions like, do I still have my own teeth? And do I have a boyfriend? Children often ask me how it feels to be old, and I'll say, well, I feel like Hazel. I've always feel like Hazel.
Oh, she is wonderful, isn't she? What a great lady.
She could use some pretty jewelry.
She's certainly, I don't know, when she's bird watching and kayaking, and I don't know, but I sure could use some.